No one noticed when Daniel started disappearing because he never actually left. He showed up to work, he answered texts, he smiled when expected. But slowly, quietly, something inside him began to shut down. Most people think mental health collapses loudly, screaming, breaking, falling apart. But sometimes it fades in silence. Daniel Harris was 36 years old, living in a quiet suburb outside Chicago. He had what most people would call a stable life, a decent job as a project manager, a mortgage, a reliable car, a long-term relationship that looked fine from the outside. Every weekday followed the same rhythm. Wake up at 6:15 a.m., coffee, shower, traffic, emails, meetings, deadlines, dinner, television, sleep. Nothing was wrong. And that was the problem. For years, Daniel told himself he was just tired. Tired from work pressure, tired from responsibilities, tired from being an adult. When he started waking up already exhausted, he blamed sleep. When he lost interest in hobbies, he blamed age. When his patience shortened and his thoughts grew heavier, he blamed stress. Everyone was stressed, right? At work, Daniel was respected. He met deadlines, he stayed late, he didn't complain. That made him valuable. At home, Emily noticed changes before he did. "You don't laugh the same anymore," she said once, half joking. Daniel shrugged. "I'm fine, just busy." Busy became his favorite word. It explained everything and solved nothing. Inside his mind, however, a quiet pressure was building. Thoughts looped endlessly at night. Small mistakes replayed like crimes. Successes felt empty. Rest felt undeserved. But Daniel didn't call it anxiety. He didn't call it depression. He called it life, because admitting something deeper would mean stopping, and stopping felt dangerous. The turning point didn't arrive as a breakdown. It arrived as an opportunity. Daniel's company announced a major promotion, senior operations lead. More responsibility, more money, more prestige. His manager pulled him aside. "You've earned this," she said, "but it's demanding. Long hours, high pressure." Daniel nodded without hesitation. Emily hesitated for him. "Are you sure this is a good idea?" she asked that night. "You're already exhausted." Daniel felt irritation rise. This promotion meant validation, proof that he was strong, capable, successful. "I can handle it," he said. "This is important." What he didn't say was the truth. If he slowed down, he was afraid everything he had been avoiding would catch up to him. So he accepted. The new role consumed him immediately. Early mornings, late nights, constant alerts, endless decisions. His body reacted first. Headaches, tight chest, shallow breathing. His mind followed. A constant sense of urgency, an inability to relax, a fear of failure that never slept. Emily tried again. "You're not okay," she said quietly one evening. "I'm worried about you." Daniel snapped back, sharper than he meant to. "I don't have time for this. I'm doing this for us." That sentence ended the conversation, but it planted a seed, because deep down, Daniel knew something was wrong, and he chose to ignore it. That was the decision, not the promotion, but the silence. The consequences didn't arrive all at once. They crept in. Daniel started forgetting small things. Emails sent twice, appointments missed. His confidence cracked. Sleep became fragmented. He woke up at 3 a.m., heart racing, mind spiraling. Food lost its taste. Music felt distant. Conversations became effort. Emily stopped asking how his day was. She started saying things like, You're here, but you're not here. One night, Daniel sat alone in his car after work for nearly an hour. He didn't want to go inside. He didn't want to drive anywhere else. He just sat. That scared him. At work, the pressure intensified. The same traits that once earned praise, perfectionism, endurance, now worked against him. He began making mistakes he never used to make. Small at first, then visible. His manager noticed. "You okay?" she asked. Daniel smiled automatically, just adjusting. But inside, something was collapsing. The breaking point came on an ordinary Tuesday. During a routine meeting, Daniel was asked a simple question. He opened his mouth and nothing came out. His mind went blank. His chest tightened. The room felt unreal. Someone repeated the question. Daniel couldn't breathe. He excused himself, walked into the bathroom, and locked the door. His hands shook, his vision blurred. For the first time in his life, Daniel felt afraid of his own mind. He didn't call Emily. He didn't call a doctor. He went back to his desk and worked late. 2 weeks later, Emily packed a bag. She said, "I love you, but I can't watch you disappear." That night, alone in a silent apartment, Daniel finally faced the truth. Ignoring his mental health had cost him more than stress. It had cost him connection, clarity, himself. Daniel took a leave of absence a month later. Not because he wanted to, but because he had no choice. The first therapy session felt uncomfortable, then relieving, then necessary. For the first time, he learned that strength wasn't endurance, it was awareness. He learned that mental health doesn't collapse subtly, it erodes quietly when ignored. That productivity can hide pain, that success can coexist with suffering. Recovery wasn't fast. Some days felt pointless. Some days felt hopeful. But slowly, Daniel began listening to his thoughts, his limits, his emotions. He learned to rest without guilt, to ask for help without shame, to treat his mind with the same care he once gave deadlines. The life lesson wasn't dramatic. It was simple and uncomfortable. Ignoring mental health doesn't make it disappear. It only makes the cost higher, and the bill always comes due. Daniel didn't lose everything, but he came close, and that's what made the lesson matter. Because mental health isn't about weakness, it's about maintenance. It's about paying attention before silence becomes damage. So here's the question worth sitting with. What are you pushing through right now? And what might it be costing you in the long run?